The electrical grid makes modern industrial civilization possible. It's a patchwork of generating plants, transformers, and power lines which are regulated by the federal government, but it's up to the private sector to monitor and protect it, and some security experts are speaking out. Keith Cloud, for instance, head of security at the Western Area Power Administration, which controls portions of the grid in 15 states, is worried that the grid is vulnerable to equipment failure and sabotage. Key to assessing the extent of the risk is understanding how the grid actually fits together. Electricity is created by power plants. It goes through step-up transformers at substations and enters a vast network of high-voltage transmission lines. As it nears customers, it goes through step-down transformers, which lower the voltage so it can travel along local utility lines. Just before entering private homes or businesses, the voltage is further decreased to 110 or 220 volts, so that the electricity can safely power everything from your light bulbs to your refrigerator. The amount of electricity produced by generating stations is changing constantly based on demand, and while running at maximum capacity, a series of equipment malfunctions or human errors can destabilize the system and cause widespread blackouts. On September 8, 2011, for instance, routine equipment problems on a big transmission line in Arizona blacked out San Diego for more than 12 hours. Even more worrisome, perhaps, is that there is no comprehensive strategy to keep the electrical grid safe from intentional sabotage. Indeed, over the past few years, its vulnerability has been revealed in a series of mysterious attacks. On April 16, 2013, snipers opened fire on a substation near San Jose and knocked out 17 transformers that funnel power to Silicon Valley. On November 5, 2013, alarms sounded at a utility operations center, signifying trouble at the Liberty substation about 35 miles west of Phoenix, Arizona. The alarms continued off and on for 2.5 days. The substation control building was ransacked, and the cabinets that housed the computer equipment were pried open. On January 30th, 2014, Liberty got hit again. This time, 2 men cut the lock to a gate and made a beeline for the control building. The pair left after trying and failing to cut off power to a security trailer bristling with cameras and blinking lights that were installed after the first breach. In late 2014, the federal government passed a rule that required utility companies to design security plans for facilities that could cause major grid disruptions if they were brought down individually. But it leaves most smaller substations, like Liberty and Metcalf, outside the regulation. The Liberty substation is part of the grid maintained by the Western Area Power Administration. Keith Cloud, its head of security, says he needs $90 million to secure WAPA's most important substations, and that so far he's only been able to get about $300,000. The Western Area Power Administration says that $90 million is an ideal world scenario, and that it spends a couple $100 million on capital improvements annually, and security dollars are embedded in those funds. Some experts worry that the smaller facilities are vulnerable because of the way that they are linked together, and that a lucky strike at several of them simultaneously could destabilize the grid and cause widespread blackouts. In addition, these unmanned substations' computers link to common systems for monitoring and controlling equipment on the grid. If someone were able to hack in, they could change equipment settings and wreak havoc. Most worrisome, perhaps, is that no one knows why these facilities were attacked in the first place, because not a single saboteur has been brought to justice.